What if the most powerful weapons in African history weren't swords or spears, but symbols? Could a simple carving or pattern truly control life, wealth, and destiny? Hidden not in weapons, but in symbols etched into stone, cloth, and skin, Africa's ancestors created a language of power so deep that even today, its force remains unstoppable. From the deserts of Egypt to the deep rainforests of Nigeria, Africa has always spoken in symbols. Long before alphabets and textbooks, these symbols carried secrets of power, survival, and spirit. To the untrained eye, they were just patterns, carvings, or marks on walls and fabrics. But to the initiated, they were living codes, portals that could open doors between the physical and the spiritual, between humanity and the divine. These were not mere drawings. They were keys to destiny itself. Imagine walking into a shrine where a priest draws strange lines on the ground. To outsiders, it may look like random art, but to the initiated, those strokes are a sacred script, invoking gods, calling ancestors, protecting kingdoms. These symbols were guarded in secrecy, often taught only to priests, chiefs, and chosen initiates. For in Africa, symbols were power in its purest form, a language capable of summoning rain, commanding spirits, or foretelling the future. Unlike Western alphabets, many African symbol systems were never meant to simply spell words. Instead, they carried layers of meaning, spiritual codes, social laws, and cosmic truths. A single symbol could tell the story of a whole clan, mark ownership of land, or protect a warrior going into battle. They were multidimensional, serving as art, law, language, and magic all at once. This fusion of the sacred and the everyday made them inseparable from African life. Why so much secrecy? Because these symbols were not just tools, they were weapons of knowledge. If enemies understood them, they could undo kingdoms. If outsiders learned them, they could twist sacred truths. That is why societies like the Ekpe of the Cross River, the Yoruba priesthood, and the Dogon elders protected their scripts with oaths, rituals, and initiations. Outsiders were rarely allowed to know their true meanings. And yet, despite centuries of colonization, suppression, and even bans by missionaries, these symbols survived. They endured in the hidden corners of African villages, in the folds of royal cloths, in whispered rituals under moonlight. Today, they still live on in art, in tattoos, in fashion, and in secret societies. But their true power remains veiled, waiting for those who dare to ask. What do these symbols really mean, and what forces do they still command? In the rainforests of southeastern Nigeria, long before Europeans arrived, there existed a sacred writing system called Nsibidi. Unlike modern alphabets, Nsibidi was never designed for the masses. It was a secret script, controlled by the Ekpe Leopard Society, a powerful brotherhood of chiefs, priests, and enforcers of justice. Each symbol could mean many things: peace, war, marriage, death, or the settling of disputes. When carved on walls, written on cloth or painted on skin, Nsibidi became both a language of governance and a tool of mysticism. To ordinary people, Nsibidi looked like mere patterns, but to the initiated, it was a living code of law and spirituality. It could decide land ownership, settle court cases, or protect warriors before battle. Even lovers used it. Messages of passion or rejection written in Nsibidi passed secretly between men and women. Colonial missionaries tried to suppress it, calling it pagan, but it survived underground, woven into masquerades, art, and rituals. Even today, Ekp societies across Nigeria and Cameroon still use Nsibidi in their secret councils. Far away in Ghana, another symbolic system flourished: the Adinkra symbols of the Akan people. These were not letters but philosophical emblems, each carrying a profound message about life, morality, and destiny. Woven into cloth and stamped on royal garments, Adinkra was once reserved for kings, chiefs, and the elite. A single symbol like Gai Nyam, meaning except for God, declared the supremacy of the divine. Others symbolized unity, strength, love, and wisdom. These were not mere decorations but spiritual shields worn on the body. When European traders saw Adinkra cloth, they admired its beauty but failed to understand its depth. To the Akan, each garment was a walking library of wisdom. A chief's robe might carry symbols declaring his authority, his spiritual protection, and his moral obligations. Funerals were filled with Adinkra symbols that spoke of death, rebirth, and ancestral power. Through cloth, the Akan literally wore their philosophy. What unites Nsibidi and Adinkra is their duality of purpose. They were at once cultural art and mystical power. They governed kingdoms while also shielding people from unseen forces. They were visible to all, yet their deepest meanings were known only to the chosen few. To this day, African fashion, tattoos, and even logos borrow from these powerful symbols, though few truly grasp the ancient secrets they carry. Deep in the cliffs of Mali lives the Dogon people, guardians of one of Africa's most mysterious symbol systems. For centuries, they have carved strange geometric patterns, star maps, and cosmic diagrams into their caves and ritual objects. To outsiders, these seem like abstract designs, but to the Dogon elders, they are cosmic blueprints, encoding knowledge of the universe that modern science only confirmed thousands of years later. One of the most baffling Dogon symbols is tied to the Sirius star system. The Dogon claim their ancestors received knowledge from spiritual beings called the Namo, who revealed that Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, has an invisible companion star. This companion, known today as Sirius B, is so small and dense that it cannot be seen with the naked eye. Yet the Dogon's ancient symbols depicted it in astonishing accuracy, long before telescopes could prove its existence. Scholars have debated for decades. How did the Dogon know? Was it coincidence, ancestral memory, or a truth whispered from another realm? Dogon symbols go far beyond astronomy. Their sacred Kanaga masks, used in funerals and initiations, represent the bridge between heaven and earth. Their cosmograms map out the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Their geometric carvings encode farming cycles, rainfall patterns, and social laws. For the Dogon, every line drawn in sand, every symbol painted on a shrine, was a dialogue with the cosmos. It was not science and spirituality, it was both woven seamlessly together. When French anthropologists first documented Dogon symbols in the 20th century, they were stunned. How could an isolated African community know so much about the stars, the universe, and unseen cosmic forces? Some whispered theories of extraterrestrial contact, while others argued that African science had long been underestimated. What cannot be denied is that the Dogon symbols reveal a vision of the universe both profound and unsettling, a vision that challenges the limits of modern understanding. The Dogon remind us that African symbols were not only about Earth, kings, or gods. They were also about the stars, creation, and the destiny of humanity itself. Hidden in caves and ceremonies, their symbols stand as a living paradox. An ancient culture that somehow knew truths that the modern world is still trying to grasp. Their mystery remains unsolved, their symbols still whispering across the desert winds. The universe is not silent, it is coded. Among the Yoruba people of West Africa, symbols were not merely written, they were spoken by the gods themselves. At the heart of Yoruba spirituality lies Ifa divination, a sacred system that connects humans to the Orisha, the divine beings who govern the forces of life. Through Ifa, priests known as Babalawo read sacred signs called Odiyu, which appear in patterns cast with palm nuts or sacred cowries. These patterns are more than chance. They are messages from the universe, encoded in symbols older than memory. The Odiyu Ifa is one of the most complex symbolic systems in the world, containing 256 sacred signs, each with countless verses, stories, and proverbs. A single Odiyu could reveal whether a journey would bring success or disaster, whether a marriage was blessed by the ancestors, or whether illness came from spiritual imbalance. To the uninitiated, the markings look like simple lines in sand. But to the priest, they are portals of destiny, gateways into divine wisdom. What makes Ifa remarkable is its fusion of symbol, sound, and story. The Odiyu are not just abstract codes, they are living archives, carrying the philosophy, law, medicine, and history of the Yoruba people. For centuries, Ifa has guided kings, protected communities, and resolved conflicts. The system is so vast that UNESCO has recognized it as a masterpiece of oral and intangible heritage of humanity. In truth, Ifa is less a religion and more a cosmic database, a library of wisdom accessed through symbols. Colonial authorities once feared and demonized Ifa, branding it witchcraft. Yet the system survived. In Cuba, Brazil, and across the Caribbean, enslaved Africans carried the symbols of Ifa across the Atlantic, disguising them within Catholic saints. Today, the Odiyu symbols are alive in Santeria, Candomblé, and other African diasporic traditions. They prove that even when bodies were shackled, the symbols of power could not be enslaved. Ifa reveals a startling truth about African symbols. They were never static drawings locked in stone. They were dynamic codes, constantly alive, shifting between worlds, and guiding human destiny. Each symbol was not just a sign but a voice of the divine, speaking across centuries to those with ears to hear. The question that lingers is this: if these ancient symbols could shape entire empires and guide countless souls, what hidden wisdom do they still hold for us today? Though centuries have passed, Africa's sacred symbols are far from forgotten. They still live, not just in dusty archives or hidden shrines, but in the very fabric of modern life. Across West Africa, Nsibidi is still practiced by Ekp societies, used in secret initiations and rituals of justice. In Ghana, Adinkra symbols adorn school emblems, company logos, and political banners, powerful reminders that wisdom is meant to guide every step of life. These symbols may look modern now, but their roots still reach into the depths of African philosophy and spirituality. In fashion, symbols once reserved for kings and priests now stride across global runways. The Guy Nyam Adinkra symbol is found on t-shirts and jewelry, worn by millions who may not fully grasp its meaning. Tattoos of African cosmograms and Dogon star maps appear on skin worldwide, often as marks of identity, resistance, or spiritual connection. For some, they are art. For others, they are talismans of protection, carrying the same force their ancestors once believed in. In religion and spirituality, the symbols thrive in even more profound ways. Yoruba Ifa divination has spread across the globe, with Babalawo priests in New York, Havana, Lagos, and Rio de Janeiro interpreting Odiyu signs for seekers of wisdom. The Dogon cosmograms continue to fascinate scientists and spiritualists alike, fueling debates about ancient knowledge and cosmic contact. And in secret societies, both African and global, these ancient codes remain embedded in initiation rituals, hidden behind locked doors. What makes these symbols truly powerful is not only their history but their resilience. Colonizers tried to burn them, missionaries tried to erase them, and skeptics dismissed them as superstition. Yet they endure. Why? Because symbols are more than drawings. They are memory, identity, and power itself. They live in the minds of those who believe and in the hearts of those who carry them. The fact that they have survived centuries of assault proves that their force is not just cultural, it is spiritual. And so, Africa's secret symbols remain alive, pulsing beneath the surface of our modern world. Some are carved on walls, some are woven into cloth, some are whispered in rituals, and some glow as tattoos on new generations. Their meanings may be hidden, their powers debated, but one truth cannot be denied. They endure because they hold something eternal. And if symbols truly shape destiny, then Africa's most guarded codes are not relics of the past. They are weapons of the future, waiting for those bold enough to unlock them. Africa's secret symbols are not dead relics. They are living codes of power, echoing across generations. They shaped kingdoms, guided priests, and whispered cosmic truths that science is still struggling. These symbols survived colonization, erasure, and exile because their force is greater than fear, greater than time. They are the hidden heartbeat of Africa, still alive, still waiting to be unlocked. If this journey moved you, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more in-depth revelations about Africa's suppressed powers and hidden history.